In 1852, the very first European settlers arrived in a beautiful area that would eventually become Visalia. Before that, the Yokuts and the Mono were the people that were here. Everyone generally referred to this area as Four Creeks. This area was basically watershed creeks when the snow from the Sierra Nevada mountains would melt into the spring. When 1852 rolled around, the new settlers camped on the north bank of a stream that would eventually be called Mill Creek. And that's when things began to change. One of the earliest settlers was a guy named Nathaniel Weiss, whom our town is named. The guy was born in Kentucky. In fact, the town he was from in Kentucky was called Visalia. His family was a pretty big deal back in Kentucky. Kind of makes you wonder what a guy like that was doing all the way across the continent to camp outside a river. He died in Texarkana, Texas, from, you're not going to believe this, he died from cyclone-related injuries. He wasn't born here, he didn't die here, but the whole town's named after him. Back then, when those guys were camping next to a river, Visalia was one of the largest oak woodland areas in all of California. But one guy cut down a tree for firewood, and another family cut down a tree to make a farm, and another group cut out some more for a clearing. And by 1909, the people had enough. They were watching the most beautiful parts of this area disappear. In 1909, they started Mooney Park. It's 100 acres of glorious oak trees, just the way it was before all this started. But that's kind of the way it is with things. Once a thing gets started, sometimes they don't stop. Railroads turn into freeways, telegraphs turn into telephones, and telephones turn into cell towers. But this video is not about now. It's about what started. So back in 1863, the town was just starting to take shape around Mill Creek. In this picture here, the town is about 11 years old. There was a couple businesses on houses on either side of that creek, and people needed a way to cross over that creek, so they built a bridge. And the path leading to that bridge is now called Bridge Street. In the mid-1850s, there was some rumors about gold here. I mean, everyone was kind of California gold crazy around 1848, and some people were willing to follow any rumor. Everyone wants to be the first one there when gold is struck. But the rumors weren't true. Either way, Visalia kept growing. First things first, Visalia needed a post office. In 1858, the first Butterfield Overland Mail stagecoach arrived. The stagecoach traveled from 1858 to 1861. That overland stage route was from St. Louis to San Francisco. And if you go down East Main Street today, there's a plaque commemorating that location. It reads,
"At this place, near midnight on October 8, 1858, Visalians were greeted with an anvil salute. The only through passenger remarked, in his words, 'They ought to be remembered in the history of the town, so I hereby immortalize them.'"
By 1860, the town's population was almost 600. There were pharmacies, blacksmith shops, stables, saloons, and a dozen or so businesses. In 1860, the telegraph finally arrived in Visalia. One of the first things that Visalia residents heard about through that telegraph was that a civil war was breaking out on the East Coast. The gold rush was still going on, and there was lots of people passing through looking for gold and silver in different areas. We call it Mineral King because there was a big silver rush there. But then again, you got people like Anna Mills. She was coming here too. She was the first female to get up on Mount Whitney. The point is, there was lots of different people coming from all different places for all different reasons. And for the next 25 years, Visalia was flourishing and developing, with a few hiccups along the way. And there you have it, Visalia, California. And here you are, ready to start the new chapter